Come on, clip load. Come on, clip. I was trying to have this be a high production thing. Oh, here we go. All right. See how this is working. I've this is every Saturday a stream, a new thing I figured I'd do just to kind of keep things afloat on the channel in terms of updates and content and just hanging out with you guys. So yeah, as you can see, I've got a new format for kind of this thing. I've also got a new streaming service, or not streaming service, but a new streaming software I've been using. I was using the OBS, but it just sucked and then kept crashing and I couldn't record it and all this other shit. So yeah, this is kind of the setup we're gonna run with. I'm gonna be over here on my little computer monitor, just chilling next to the couch, as you do, you know. So yeah, just this is how it's gonna be. And as the special activity says, we're going to get into an Elden Ring boss tier list later, which should be pretty fun. And yeah, so this is just kind of a thing of me trying to stream once a week, just to kind of interact with you guys directly and try to get things working. And hopefully once this becomes more regular, more people will be able to keep track of it and pop in and say hi whenever they want to. And, you know, I've seen it work pretty well for a lot of other channels that I watch where they have a regular thing every week or every certain number of days or every day of the week and so on and so forth. And I thought, you know, may as well give it a try because consistency is good. Consistency works. So this should be a fun little interesting experiment, to say the least. But yeah. So right away, just first thing we're going to tackle here is just kind of updates for projects and kind of how they're going. And first off is going to be the big project I'm working on at the moment, which is the Zombie Army series commentary. It's going pretty well so far. The script is completely done. I've recorded a good bit of my audio of the script. I recorded 33 sections out of, let me check my notes to be accurate here. Right, 33 sections out of 59. So I've recorded half of those, and I've already started editing a few of those as well. So I've got about 8 sections edited so far. This video looks to be around the same length as my Call of Duty commentary. So this will probably be around 5 hours, give or take, you know, what have you. But yeah, so that's coming along pretty swimmingly. It's pretty easy to record these sessions as they're relatively short. So I'm hoping to finish recording and editing everything. Excuse me. I'm hoping to record and edit everything and have that whole process finalized by the end of January. And hopefully I can get a video uploaded in February and set a date for probably sometime in February or March at the latest. This project has flown by pretty quick in terms of the actual production side of things after scripting it. So it's kind of a thing where I expect this to come out pretty soon, and hopefully people enjoy it. And I just hope it turns out well, and also gets another series of games that I wanted to talk about kind of out of the way, so to speak, because I've got a lot of series of games that I want to cover, and I'll be going over that list in a second. But so that video is doing well, and we're hoping and praying for a February release. This has been quite easy to play through and edit because it's linear, unlike it's linear and simple, unlike my other commentaries, which were a little bit more fragmented and were a little bit more kind of all over the place in terms of what I needed to record and what I needed to script and what I needed to talk about. So yeah, this video is coming along swimmingly. So I think it's probably pertinent that I talk about the Skyrim commentary next, because I know that's one that some people have been excited about and want to see how that's doing. This is kind of a thing that's been going on in the background, and it's going to take a bit just because there's a lot of stuff to script through. And that's usually the longest process for me, is scripting the actual video itself and getting it all to work properly. So right now I'm still scripting the main quest line, which is kind of ridiculous because I've got a ridiculous amount of stuff to cover in that video specifically. And just for reference, I believe I did a tally the other day, and out of the sections that I need to script for this Skyrim video, I've gotten, let's see, how far am I? I've got like my notes here. Let's see, how far am I? I am 5 sections in to a 200 section video or a 200 section series of videos, because I'm very certain, I don't know why my voice is giving out today. It sucks. But I am very certain that the Skyrim commentary is going to have to be broken up, just in terms of just sheer volume of stuff, because YouTube does have a limit for how much you can upload at a single time. And if I don't hit the file cap, I'm probably going to hit the time cap, which I think is 12 hours. I don't know if they've changed that, but yeah, so I'm probably going to have to split the Skyrim commentary up, and I'm still trying to figure out what the best place to split it up at would be. The halfway point would make sense. So after what point that is, I'm not exactly sure yet, but it will get working in some fashion as we go along. So that'll be something fun to get onto once I get to it. I'm kind of doing a thing right now where I focus on a smaller commentary, like the Zombie Army Series one, and then when all the recording for that is completely done and it's just editing, I will begin working more on the Skyrim commentary and kind of pace it where I'm working on a smaller commentary and then bounce back and forth between smaller than the Skyrim one. Because the Skyrim one, I think, will be my biggest commentary ever, as far as I know. I don't have any games in my roster at this point that has more content worth talking about than Skyrim. And that's just by virtue of Skyrim being huge, having a bajillion things to do in it, which I plan to cover, because these commentaries have been kind of a mixture of a critical analysis, a walkthrough, and sort of a time capsule is kind of what they've developed into over the course of working on all of them. So that's something that's been kind of fun to kind of have in mind as we go through a lot of these games. So, like I said, the Zombie Army series commentary going smoothly will probably be out in February unless something ridiculous happens. So we'll see how that goes. Skyrim commentary's got a long way to go, so I do apologize. It's just there's a fuck ton of stuff to cover in that video. And given the way I like to do it, I'm going to be covering pretty much damn near everything in the game. I'd say at least a good 90% of the stuff in Skyrim. And if any of you know how much stuff is in Skyrim, you'll understand how much stuff actually is there that needs to be covered. So this is going to be a huge endeavor that will take forever, but I'm trying to have other commentaries kind of happen in the meantime to kind of sate that critical analysis kind of side of the channel to a certain extent, just because I like doing them, and I have a lot of other games that I would like to do smaller sort of projects with, in terms of the in terms of the actual um, just critical analysis side. Like I've got a lengthy list of games that I would like to cover that would be in the kind of the just kind of in the vein of this sort of commentary thing that I've been doing. I also have plans for the next commentary to be kind of a an even smaller one by comparison to this one, because I did say in my Dying Light commentary that I would do one for the following, and after years, I am finally getting around to it. That will be the next one I do after the Zombie Army trilogy and Zombie Army 4 commentary, and that one should have a relatively quick turnaround because I think you can play through the entire DLC, doing all the quests and stuff and getting all the content of the game within about 8 hours. So that should be a relatively short commentary, all things considered. And plus, a lot of the points made in that commentary will be reflective of what was in the Dying Light commentary. So that should be a very quick project from beginning to end. Like I think I might be able to get that whole thing done in maybe 3 months or so, just because I don't think there's going to be a whole lot to cover there that I haven't already covered. So that's going to be something to keep in mind, and it'll be an easy project for me to kind of jump into, get it done, get it out, and then get back to working on the Skyrim video for a little bit. Because, like I said, Skyrim video is going to take forever, but just please be patient. I am working on it. I'm trying. I'm trying so hard. But yeah, it's just a lot of just figuring out which project I can work on at once, because I found that when I break up projects and try to do multiple ones at the same time, it usually doesn't end well, and it ends up stalling both projects longer than necessary. So I'm trying to kind of do one at a time, and then in between kind of the the birthing period of each one, work on the Skyrim one because it's bigger and will just take longer. Anyway, I've harped on that point long enough. But as of right now, the list of commentaries that I plan on doing in totality includes, at least at this point, includes Alien Isolation, Doom and Doom Eternal as a two-piece video, or as a double feature. I plan to do Dying Light the following, like I said. I plan to do Dying Light 2, which that might take a bit to make, but we'll get there. I plan to do a Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 special. I'm thinking about doing the Metro trilogy, so Metro 2033, Metro Last Light, and Metro Exodus, just because I think they're interesting games, and I think there's a good bit to talk about in them. All right, I have thought about doing some Resident Evil games as well, so going over the remake of 1, 2, 3, and 4, just because they're kind of newer, and also just because I find those games interesting, and I have a lot to say about that franchise in general. So I think it'd be an interesting thing to tackle. But yeah, that we've got the Skyrim one I'm working on. I've got another double feature for Subnautica and Below Zero. I'm still working on how I want to record that, just because I can't record those the same way I do the other ones, where it's kind of, every other game has levels or quest lines and stuff like that. Subnautica is just kind of an open world, fuck around and figure it out sort of thing. So how do you do that, in the scripted form that I do? I'll find a way though. All right, then of course we have the Zombie Army series, and I am thinking of adding the Outlast 1 and 2 to the list of commentaries I'd like to do, just because I think it's important to talk about Outlast in terms of some of the other games I would like to cover in the horror genre, just because of how much I think the Outlast brand has damaged horror. But that'll come up in a video of its own at a later date. So yeah, that's pretty much it as far as updates on projects and things. I'm still working on Zombie Army series commentary, as I said. Skyrim commentary whenever I can get around to it outside of the zombie army thing. I'm planning to do a little bit more recording with just some chill games. So just playing some games for the channel just to kind of play them, since I originally bought them for the channel and then never played them for the channel. So I may as well try to recoup my investment on them. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, I'm just looking forward to doing more stuff as the days go on. But now let's transition over and see how we can get this done with this stuff. I am very terrible at this. There we go. Okay, so here's our Elden Ring tier list, being all snazzy and fun and stuff. And this list is not a comprehensive list of all, I think, 260 something bosses, 250 something bosses. It's not a comprehensive list, but it's got a lot of different bosses in it. So we'll see how it goes and see how long this takes. This is just, and one thing too is I plan to have little activities like this throughout each stream, just so we can kind of have updates and then have a little fun with something random afterwards, whether that be a reaction or a tier list or a ranking of something, or just something fun and short that we can include as kind of a second part to the stream. But yeah, let's get into this ranking. And first off, we've got the it looks like the double abductor versions. So I don't know, where would I put these two? They're as a boss fight, I'd probably just say, I mean, as a boss fight, I'd actually probably put them in like D, just because I just don't really care about them as a boss. They're kind of just regular enemy turned into boss. So it doesn't really make me, like, and this is one big thing about bosses that Elden Ring really kind of pissed me off about, was they took so many regular enemies and just turned them into a boss. And some people are going to say, "Oh, but they did that in like other games and stuff. Like I know Dark Souls 2 like had like the Dragon Rider as a regular enemy and Scholar, and Dark Souls 1 and all this other shit, like it's like, yeah, they've done it before, but that doesn't make the boss unique. It just means you've already fought it. You've just not fought the boss version. You know, that's the kind of thing that bugs me about it. It's like fighting the soldier of Godric. It's just a generic soldier of Godric. It's not a real special boss, right? Just because you slap a health bar on it and call it a boss doesn't mean that it's an actual boss fight. Especially not when you deal with those enemies all over the damn game. It's not special. And in my eyes, bosses should be special. Right? All right. The next is this flame dude. I think that's the flame dude in the Evergaol, or however you say that. He's okay. I guess I don't really have any strong opinion about it one way or another. Let's see. Then we got. See, I think that's the Black Knife leader. See, I'd probably put this up there because I like fighting this enemy because they have good tells. They're not overpowered, and a lot of the moves are well telegraphed. See, I'd probably put this as the A, so it's a good boss fight, and also the reward of killing it is pretty good. All right, next we got the. I can't tell which one this is. This is the problem when you have a game that has multiple versions of the same boss, and just a couple minor things are changed, right? Or like there's an extra move added. It's like, how do I deal with this? Like what? Like which boss actually is this? I mean, I probably put this boss as just kind of fine. I found it kind of, it's a unique enemy, like truly a unique enemy, but the boss fight itself doesn't really engage me that much in terms of how I view the boss fight mechanically, in terms of how you actually fight it. Like it just feels like a dancing deer that can kill you if you're really bad with button mashing or something. I don't know. Very average in my opinion, but it's not bad per se. Like it's not a repeated asset as much as it is just kind of a mid boss. And in case you can't tell, these things are meant to kind of go along with kind of the standard sort of ranking system a lot of people use. So S is like amazing, A is great, B is good, C is average, D is not that great, and F is fuck you. Which I should probably put like in here. I probably should have done this before the stream started, but yeah, this is where we are. I'm trying new things here, and you gotta learn to crawl before you can walk, which is probably better said if I actually did this beforehand and fucked it up somewhere. This is just terrible. This is just terrible. All right. All right. Now we got that all set up and done. So that's good. All right. So let's get to this next. We got this dragon in wherever it is. Um, I mean, I'd put it at like average. Like it's got some good points to the fight. It does have that mounted combat sort of stilted like aspect to the fight. Like a lot of the mounted combat fights in the game are fights I dislike. I find mounted combat to be kind of janky at times. That doesn't play in favor of actually playing the game and actually fighting enemies on a mount, in my opinion. It just kind of becomes an annoying little thing of where you have to manage two health bars, and while managing one health bar, you can end up damaging the other one. So I just don't think it's conducive to boss fights. Now, the Radon fight, I think, is probably the one that comes closest to actually making the fight worth it. But that's really just because you're kind of built to rush the boss with a bunch of different people anyway. So Radon being distracted by mounts isn't necessarily going to, do anything, to you that's that annoying in terms of boss fights with mounts involved. You know what I mean? But regardless, we'll move on here. All right. We've got Evergaol, Frost Boy, just regular enemy, repeated asset. All right. Got another one of them, repeated asset. All right. Now we've got one of the giant like alien things. I don't remember which one this is because there's another one next. I think this is the one for Ronnie's quest line, and the other one is I don't know. I'd probably put this at good. I'd probably put both of these at a good actually. Like I like their boss fights and how they're a weird kind of alien creature and they fight with like starlight magical effects and things. I just think they're a neat enemy and the way they fight you is pretty cool. That one attack that I don't know if both of them have, but the one attack where they appear behind you and grab you, I kind of don't like, but there is a wind up to it, so you can kind of figure it out. But yeah, it's something that I think they're good enough. Good enough for me. All right, that guy in the Evergaol, probably bad because repeated asset. All right, there's a Beast Man, repeated asset. Is this another Beastman? Oh, yes, the dual Beastman. Yeah, repeated asset. All right. Are the bell bearing hunters? I don't like the bell bearing hunters. I find them incredibly annoying. Incredibly annoying, especially with the way their sword combat works. Fuck that sword that can just track me wherever I am unless I'm like 50 feet away. I fucking hate that. I think it's stupid. I understand how you could have fun with it, but I just think they just didn't. I think they could have done more with the idea of a sword that can be, slashed without moving your hand. Like if he had a ranged attack that involved that wasn't a melee combo hit, but just where you're far away from him, I think it could be more interesting. But regardless, I don't like those enemies. Like period. Just so fuck them. Speaking of enemies, I don't like the golems. Yeah. Fuck these things. I don't like them. I don't like them. And I don't like them for similar reasons to why I don't like a lot of large enemies in these games. It's just they seem to flop all over the place when fighting them, and their attack range is kind of ridiculous compared to yours, It's just like their melee range and how you fight them becomes kind of race against time to see how much damage you can do to their legs before they kill you. And that kind of cheapens the fight in terms of the actual like dynamic of having this player overcoming this big monster when all you do is spend most of your day like smacking at its feet and hoping for a critical attack to open up. All right, so all right, now we got more Black Knife Assassin enemies. Since they kind of, and this is one thing too, is like since these are kind of repeated assets in a certain way, but they are I think a pretty well made enemy. I'd probably put most of them at kind of average, just as kind of a middle ground between. Just because I like them as a boss fight, uh, but it is a thing where it's like they do reuse it several times, and I'd say that at late game, with that one being kind of the big one, I'd say that one's kind of fine, but these other ones are kind of like, yeah, they're average, I guess you could say. But yeah, it's kind of what it is. All right, now we got the little low to the ground. What is it? Fellhound Hunter? What do you call them? I think they're pretty mid. I think they're okay. Not fantastic, but they're okay. All right. Then we got the giant with spells attached. I think he's okay. I think that's it. All right. I don't know which dragon this is. It looks like, based on the picture, the frostbite dragon. I find a lot of the dragon fights, a lot of those type of dragon fights, to be kind of bad. I don't like them. It's one of those things where I've played the game several times over with different builds, and a melee build is just fighting them as a melee build usually comes down to wait for their fire breath attack to go away after 10 seconds, smack them in the head 3 times, run away, repeat, or it's bait uh their cone effect breathing ability, smack legs while they do it, or if it's range, just spam the head attack while baiting out another attack. Like all the fighting just seems very simple and kind of boring in my opinion. So a lot of those dragon fights I don't like, at least with these kinds of dragons. The other ones I think are a little bit neater, just because they actually have more to them than just breathe fire slash rot slash whatever. All right, now we got these little shade enemies. Um, I think they're okay. I think they're okay. The way they teleport around is kind of neat, and their grabs kind of interesting to see. But yeah, I think they're okay. All right. All right. Then we get the knight, and this is the thing though, is I'd say they're a repeated enemy, so I don't like that. But at the same time, they're only a repeated enemy because they appear a couple times in like the Halig tree, the Halig tree, right? So it's like, are they a repeated asset? I don't know. I mean, I probably put them as average. I mean, they're okay. They're not as good as I'd like a boss to be, but you get the picture. All right, now we've got Commander Dude. This is the frosty one. I'd say he's I'd say he's bad because his attacks I think are fair and I kind of like his gimmick, but I don't like the summoning aspect of it. Especially in a tiny arena like this, right? The one in the overworld I would give a little bit more grace to, just because he summons a bunch of weaker ads. This guy summons ads that can take and deal some significant damage while also dealing with him, which in my opinion fucks up the boss fight. And I think it's a thing too where some of these boss fights, I think, should be tiered accordingly, right? Like I think the overworld bosses should be generally weaker than the ones that are behind a fog wall, right? And I think the ones behind a fog wall should be, weaker than ones that are on the more unique side in terms of the main quest line that you kind of have to go through to beat the game, right? So these guys are kind of like on their own, I'd put them both in average, but with the way they summon enemies, especially the one in the frozen area, it bumps him down a peg. All right. All right. The twin input reading knights. Fuck that fight. On their own, I actually kind of like them. but together is just fuck you. It's like this. That's a fuck you developer moment. All right. The dual crystallians. I probably put them as bad because I just don't like they're a gimmick that involves you having to smack the crap out of them if you don't have a weapon that does the right type of damage. And that kind of specific gimmick stuff is stuff that I just hate. I find them just incredibly annoying. Oh god, speaking of annoying, all the death birds. All the death birds go in the fuck you category. All of the death birds go in the fuck you category. Because fuck those death birds, man. Fuck every single. Jesus, how many are there in the game? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow. Fuck those things. Anyway, okay. We got another dragon that I don't like. It's kind of a basic enemy. I guess it's okay. I mean, they appear in the world, so it's kind of a repeated asset thing. All right. All right. The demi-humans, I guess, are okay. So I put them as kind of okay. All right. All right. Then we got the Draconic Tree Sentinel. I kind of like the Tree Sentinel fights. I think they're kind of neat. Not amazing, but kind of neat. All right. Then we've got these Dragon Soldier dudes. I guess they're okay. The rot one's going into fuck you territory, though, because why put a boss in the middle of a lake? I know you can raise platforms and shit to do stuff with it and to make the fight more manageable, but still, fuck them for putting a boss in the middle of a giant rot lake. That's just terrible. All right, now we're getting to some big bosses here. So now we got Placidusax. I think he's a pretty good fight, all things considered, but I do think that the fight is a little boring at times just because of his health and because he's basically just big boss AoE spam. And that's pretty much what he does, which is kind of a problem with a lot of bosses in the late game. It's just the kind of the AoE effect spam that I don't like. I think it's kind of cheap. All right, we got the Elden Beast. I actually really like the Elden Beast. I think it's a really cool fight. I think it's a really cool fight. All right, got the original bell-bearing hunter, so he can go in the fuck you category. All right, we got the twin trees. They're bad, but it's manageable. All right, then we got another tree. The trees are okay. The tree fights are okay. All right, the cat enemies. They're going in the fuck you category. I don't like them at all. All right, there's another tree. There's another tree. All right, another cat enemy. Fuck you. Another cat enemy. Fuck you. Another cat enemy. Fuck you. All right, this is. What even is this? Oh, is this that one guy that's in what is it? The subterranean shunning grounds. That's like the blood guy, or the blood guy that's not Moog. I guess I should say. I guess he's okay. All right. Okay. And we got the Falling Star Beast. The Falling Star Beast to me is a really weird enemy because I like how they operate, and after getting my ass handed to me by them, I kind of enjoy fighting them to a certain extent. But just their resistances kind of kill a lot of builds in terms of how they work and how effective you'll be against them. So I probably put them at average, all things considered. All right. Got another Omen. Repeated asset, pretty much. Fia's summons. I'd say they're average. Like they each fight in a unique way, and I guess it's okay. Fire Giant, fuck you. I hate the AoE spam. And just stop rolling around. just fuck you, AoE spam. Like Fire Giant's one of those fights where he just has a bajillion HP. He rolls around so much. His AoE attacks are fucking ridiculous. Just fuck the Fire Giant. All right, here's another dragon. Don't like dragon fights. What is this? I don't even know what this fight is. What is that? I can't make out what that is. Average for the sake of being fair. Oh well, let's keep going. All right, what is that? Is that another dragon? Looks like another dragon. Golem, they're okay. Actually, no, I put them in bad. They're okay, but they're a repeated asset. Another dragon. Another dragon. Let's see, Evergold Godric. He's okay. He's kind of a rip. He's a ripoff, but he's an okay ripoff, and you only see him the one time. See, there's actual Godric. Putting him in there. I think Godric's a very mid fight. I don't think he's terrible, but I can see how some people would like or dislike him. All right, Ghost of Godfrey, the all spamming. I think he's average in his spectral form. Just wait till we actually get to him. All right, now we got the Godskin. I always forget the names. Is the noble the fat one or is the apostle the fat one? I always forget. I think the noble's the thin one. I keep forgetting the name. They blend together after a while just because you fight them so many times in the campaign together. I actually like this fight a good bit. I think it's a good fight, and I would repeat that. Let's see, which one is this? Is this the dude? It looks like it's in the arena of the two of them, but it also looks like the single one. All right, so there's another fat boy down here. So I guess this is the dual fight. The dual fight's a fuck you just because of how they extend that fight to no end with just a giant health pool. The enemies disappear and then reappear until the health pool's gone. It's the most arbitrary excuse of we need the fight to last longer, so just make them respawn multiple times. Just because. It's just kind of a lazy sort of like, why did you even do that? All right. Oh, that's one of those knights. Or not knights, the beefy dudes that you can find underground sometimes. I guess they're okay. I don't really have a strong opinion about them one way or the other. All right. Who the fuck is this? Is this Radigan? I don't know who this is. I must zoom in on this picture. Who the fuck is this? Quit giving me ads. Oh, it's a magma worm. Okay, I don't know why I couldn't see that before. All right, magma worm, fuck you because of your charge attack. It just wastes so much time. All right, then we got Godfrey, First Elden Lord. Fuck the AoE spam. See, what is this? Looks like another dragon dragon worm thing. All right. We got that guy at the Weeping Peninsula. He's okay. Let's see. I like his dragon fight. What is this one? I can't tell which one that is. You're going an average because I can't remember what you are. This list is getting so cumbersome to get through. All right. Giant head dude. They're okay. Single Crystallian. I think they're okay. In a group, it's annoying. Loretta. All right. I would put you in good, but because of how ridiculous your magic damage is, I'm putting you in average. All right. Twin dickheads. Just no. Another magma worm and the fuck you. Another magma worm and the fuck you. Another magma worm and the fuck you. Here we go. Here's one. Melania. Now, where do we put her? Because this is the biggest thing about this is I really like a lot of her moveset. I just don't like the self-healing, and I don't like how much damage the waterfowl dance does. Those are the two biggest drawbacks to the fight to me. And this is one thing. If she didn't have self-healing, and if waterfowl dance didn't do ridiculous amounts of damage on top of healing, I would actually put her at amazing. I would actually put her at amazing. But with the healing factor, that puts her in the fuck you category. Just like she could have been at the top, but they just went just a hair too far with this shit, and I got to put her in the fuck you category, just because fuck that self healing, man. Just that thing just ruins the fight for me. All right, Meleketh. I'm going to assume that includes both phases. I love the Meleketh fight, especially the second phase. I think it's great. I also just like the way he fights. He fights like a glass cannon build with some crazy magic thrown in, but it's not outright overpowered, and you will usually be able to handle him, which I think is pretty good. All right, so this looks like Morgott or Margit. Yeah, I think that's the Margit version, so I'd probably put him at average. Actually, no, I actually put him at bad. I don't like Margit's combos. I find them kind of cheap. All right, we got this sentry thing. That's the opening one, so I'm gonna put you in fuck you just because starting a fight that we have a tiny, tiny chance of winning, I think is kind of gay. All right, we got the mimic tier. I'd put it as average because you can make the fight really interesting if you just let it copy you, but you can also cheese it by taking all your gear and equipment off. All right, flower, bad because repeated asset. All right, here's Radigan. Okay. After getting my ass kicked by Radigan a while, both on my own and with a friend, I'd actually put him at great. I really like the Radigan fight. It's grown on me over time. All right, what is the fuck is this? Oh, it's another one of those Crucible Knights. On his own, he's good. All right, Moog. I'd put him at a fuck you, just because of his first phase isn't too bad, but when he does his nihil thing 3 times, and the only way to deal with that is to have this one item that may appear that appears in the game, far away from where he is and isn't even like just like he's got too much of a gimmick to him in terms of how you deal with his blood loss abilities. Just his blood loss is just annoying as fuck, especially when he sprays it all over the damn arena. It's like it's I think it's the biggest thing about a lot of the late game fights in Elden Ring. A lot of them just throw way too much shit at you, and it's a thing where a lot of Moog's moves in phase 2 are just AoE spam, and that's just so annoying, right? At least when you look at AoE attacks with a lot of these enemies up here, the Elden Beast, gives a big wind up before it does a lot of its attacks. So does Radigan, and so does Malekith. Moog just sprays his red cum everywhere, and it just stays there all the time. It takes forever to go away. It makes it annoying to fight him when you've got blood loss building up the entire damn fight, on top of him having a unique ability that can probably kill you if you don't have this one item in this one place that you can only find after this one invasion happens. It's like such a ridiculously specific list of requirements to deal with it, and the fight is annoying as hell because of all the AoE spam everywhere. It's not even really AoE spam, it's just the attack hits you, hits the ground, continues the blood loss and health loss at the same time. It's just like you're overdoing it. Stop. All right, here's Mini Moog. I put him as okay. Mini Moog is okay. All right, Morgott. The more I've fought him, the more I've kind of liked him in his beefy form, but I'd say average at this point. I don't like the Margit fight. I think the Morgott fight's better just because he doesn't use his ridiculous combo as much, but that's also just because he has more moves that are more unique and more interesting to look at. All right, I don't know what this is, so it's going in average. Black Knight. I put him as bad. Kind of boring to fight. Again, just mounted combat that doesn't seem to work well with other mounted enemies. Just kind of boring, and I'd say boring and tedious is the thing I keep coming back to with a lot of the fights involving mounts. It's just like they take forever to beat. It's kind of annoying. All right, what is this fight? I don't even know what that fight is. You're gonna go on average because I can't be bothered to zoom in on you. All right, this guy, he's bad. That repeated jump attack is just like fuck you. That's so annoying. All right, we got another one of them. Got the gravity zapping dudes. I guess he's okay. We got Patches as a fight. I'm gonna put him in amazing just because he's recurring character I like. No other explanation other than that. I don't know what this is. What is this? What is that one? I just this list is so big that it's become cumbersome. What even is that? What are you? I can't make out what you are. Are you another one of the? Oh, you look like another one of the cat things. Because of cat PTSD, go away. Oh yeah, okay, we're getting back into cat variants. There's so much to tackle here still. Oh, wait, we're almost done. Okay. Yeah. I just don't want this list to get so small to the point where you can't even make out what we're actually looking at. All right, it looks like another. Let's see. Okay, these are more trees. So I guess more trees. Another tree. 3 crystalians. Just annoying. Oh, it's so hard to make out some of this stuff when they're so small. Wait a minute, what the fuck? This is Radigan, right? Like, it looks like Radigan. Why is there another Radigan down here? Oh, well, whatever. If that's supposed to be, like, Marika or something. I don't know. Right, I'm just going to kind of pick and choose randomly here if I can't recognize what they are. Okay, big tree, bad, kind of annoying to fight them. Don't remember what you are. You go an average. Special magic dog. Fuck you. You're too agile. All right, another one of those little spirit things running around. All right, Renala. I'd say Renala's good. I like Renala as a fight. I think it's pretty neat. It's a good use of its sort of gimmick, I would say. All right, Vike. I put as bad just because I know there's a lore reason why he's as strong as he is, but just I hate enemies that just spam shit, and that just gets old. Right? There's Ghost of Loretta, so you're gonna go in there. All right, then we got these enemies, the multi-armed enemies that are the Revenants. Absolutely fuck you. It's probably the most cancerous enemy in the game. Rune Bears, fuck them. Not as bad as the spammy like multi-armed dudes, but still fuck them. Rykard, I'd put as bad. His gimmick just takes forever. Not even sure what this one is. You're gonna go an average. All right, what was this one? Repeated asset, so bad. All right, Sir Gideon off near the all spamming. Fuck you and your spamming ability. All right, I can't make out what that is. You're going an average. All right, Spirit Caller Snake. It's okay. Sometimes it's interesting, sometimes it's not. Can't tell which one that is. Average. It's just Radon. I like how they picked the meteor picture. As a fight, his fights can be a little annoying, but I really like the whole gimmick of his fight. So that's kind of it. All right, got the giant troll thing. It's okay. All right, we got looks like another summon thing. I'm not sure. Put you in that one. All right, we got the ones in the boats. I guess they're okay. Oh man, we are almost at the end. Okay, so all the boat ones are going in average just because they're okay. Got another gargoyle. Got the death spraying ones. Fuck them. All right, looks like okay. Another tree. So I forgot where did I put that other tree? I forget where I put the other tree. I thought I put them in average. Tree fights are kind of okay. All right, I think that's another tree fight. All right, then we got the twin tree sentinels. Bad just because you're throwing two mounted bosses at me at once, and just fuck you. And we got the regular tree sentinel, which I think is okay. I think it's okay. All right. So there's my comprehensive list of all the Elden Ring bosses that are on this one list. So yeah, as you can see, there's a fair amount of average, a good amount of bad, and a high amount of fuck you. But yeah, okay. So that's the tier list that we're doing. So now we're just gonna probably end the stream here. I plan to do this every Saturday, where we just kind of have a unique little activity after giving updates on projects and just things like that. And hopefully, as this becomes more regular, more people will be able to tune in, and more people will be able to just come chill and chat and ask questions and things. So yeah, we're probably going to end this here. And so I'd just like to thank you all for watching this stream and supporting the channel and doing whatever it is that you do that involves me. I appreciate it. And I would just like to, again, just thank you all for watching. And I will see you guys later.